Today we're going to take a look at the Crimson Trace laser guard attachment for the Taurus slimline pistol model 740. This is also applicable to the model 709 as well. I'm going to try to avoid talking about the gun too much. I'll save that for a specific review, but just a quick overview. This is a Taurus model 740 Slim, PT 740. It's a 6-round 40 caliber and currently empty. Compact pistol, very small for the punch that it gives you. So that's the gun. The 709 is the 9mm version. It's practically the same in terms of dimensions, and therefore that's why this laser guard works on both. So let's just take a look at what we got going on here. As you can see here, the original trigger guard is right here, and when you get the laser guard from Crimson Trace, it actually comes in two pieces, and I'll show you that. It comes in two pieces, and you pop it on each side, and you screw it down. It comes with a little hex wrench, and you have two hex screws that are going to clamp it down on there, and that's it. And it gets a nice solid seal. And then these other hex screw areas are for your windage and elevation. There's another one right there. So that's how you adjust it. Now, out of the box, it's factory set according to the manual for 50 feet. I haven't touched the windage and elevation. I'm not exactly going for bullseye shooting with this thing either, but it seems fine out of the box to me, but you can adjust it pretty easily from what it looks like there. So that's what that looks like. When you get it, it's going to come in a box that looks similar to this. Now, I apologize, this is actually a laser grip box, and it's not a laser grip, it's a laser guard. But you get a box similar to this. They're about $179 retail, I think, something like that. I got mine for $129 off of eBay, with shipping including, which is sweet. But it did show up in this laser grip box for an LCP, so what are you going to do? But it looked like it appeared to be brand new. So anyway, I got kind of lucky on the price there. It's going to come with your little hex tool right there. Okay, that's how you're going to do the things I was talking about before as far as adjusting the sights and installing it. And you got a little swab for cleaning the laser and your nice lawyer sticker there that I guess I'll have to put on there when whoops, I forgot. And then you get your instruction manual. This is kind of a dual-purpose manual for the laser grips and laser guards. Laser grips, by the way, are usually the ones where the laser will actually be coming out of the grip and will kind of go alongside your gun. At least that's the way it looks from what I've seen. So, but the guard goes along the trigger guard. So that's how they came up with that fancy name. But anyway, the book here gives you general instructions, basic firearm safety, and all that fun stuff. And installation instructions in here, stuff like that, how to adjust the windage and elevation. But again, it's really straightforward, and you'll see that when we take this apart a little bit. The beam is nice and bright, very nice and bright beam. You can see there, just in this example, there's a little actuating button is right here. So it adds a little bit of thickness to the base of your the grip on your gun. It's really not that noticeable. And anytime you grab this thing, it's on. It's going to come on. You grab it, it's on. There's nothing to think about. It's not an on-off switch. It's just always on if you're holding it. You can see it looking at you right there. So, throws a pretty good beam. Actually, in a worst case scenario, if you're in close quarters without secondary light source, this thing will actually light the room up in close quarters. It's pretty bright. And I've tried it out. I was recently backpacking. I took this with me in New Hampshire for 5 days. Got rained on. It's not like I submerged it, but I mean, it got rained on and everything, and it's still ticking. So, I mean, it seals on there pretty tight. So I wouldn't call it waterproof, and I'm not sure they claim it is either, but it'll take some general wetness and wear and tear from what I've seen. And you can see here we're in what is otherwise my completely darkened bathroom, and we got nothing in here except for that red light you're seeing there is actually a camera. But it throws a very bright beam and actually has lit this room up a bit. So it's very bright. As a matter of fact, when I was on that New Hampshire trip and I had this with me, I had some opportunities to really shine this thing around in some super secluded forest areas, and this beam will go further than your eye will ever see, or that you'll ever practically use this weapon. So, very nice. I'm happy with it. I'll show you taking it apart a little bit and installing it, and that's about all there is to it. And here we are taking it apart. You see, all we're going to do is put this right in that hole there. Oh, lefty-loosey. Spin it off. Do the other one. Okay, and I'm actually going to grab this thicker part here, put some pressure on that, and it'll start to pop apart. Get that right off of there like that. So now you got your two pieces. Really, once you have it installed, I mean, to change the battery, you can see the other side stays on there pretty well. And I'm not going to bother now, but if I put a little extra pressure, that'll pop right off. But for battery switching, it's not like the whole thing just falls apart. So you take your main piece off there. You see I have a single, I believe they call it a 1/3N battery in there. You have option to also put two smaller batteries in there. They're called 357 silver oxide batteries. So you can stack two, or you can do the big one. I just happen to have the big one in there. And I think maybe that's a little less opportunity for failure if they shake and lose contact or something. I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much. So whatever's cheaper and at your local store, I guess, is what you can pop in there. So that's really all there is to it. So there you go. We'll just put this thing back together. And I've taken it apart and putting it back together before, switched, to check the battery out and stuff, and I haven't lost my zero. Not that I can tell, so that's nice. And that's it. The LG 447 Crimson Trace Laser Guard.